Welcome to Wilkins Stadium on a Saturday afternoon as WSU-TV brings you more Wichita State softball this afternoon from Wichita. It's the Shockers of Wichita State against the Tigers of Memphis. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Steve Strain and Jamie Hull with you on a Saturday afternoon of softball. Yes, another windy Saturday afternoon. It's been that way just about every day here as of late. You can see the wind not quite blowing at the velocity it did yesterday when it was blowing out of the south at about 20 miles an hour, if not more. Today, a little less wind, but we've got temperatures at 60 degrees. A nice day for softball. Jamie, the Shockers much more focused rather than the weather, though, on last night's game, a game that they were so close, but they fell 3-2, and I know this team wants to turn around and try to get back on the field quickly and get that first conference win, because last night is one they feel like they should have had.
Yeah, both of these teams played so well, competed so well, and I'm definitely planning on seeing some similar type softball today.
There you see the defensive alignment for Wichita State, and right away you notice Bailey Lange, their, of course, great pitcher this season, is going to start in right field. Paige Llewellyn is still only a designated player as a batter, but she is not playing in the outfield. Asia Weber played left last night. She's moved over to, played right last night. She is moved over to left field today. Caitlin Bingham gets the start in the circle for Wichita State. Everything else pretty much the same. Bailey Nickerson and Lori Derrico provided the offense last night for Wichita State, a pair of solo homers. That's all the Shockers could muster, though, in the game last night, Jamie, as Wichita State just 4 hits, 2 of those the home runs, and just those 2 runs as well on solo homers. This is a better hitting team than that, but they faced a very good pitcher last night.
Yes, they did. Smith had a lot of movement happening. You see a lot of her, going out of the zone, having the Shockers really go fishing a little bit, but man, did they work efficiently. When they were behind, they came back with a nice little strike over the fence a few times, and just like you mentioned, you could see a nice little offensive threat come from the Shockers, and we'll see exactly what they can do against this Memphis Tiger team today.
Molly Smith, the terrific pitcher that Jamie alluded to, pitched last night. She will not start today. It'll be Mariah Nichols that will, and there's the offensive lineup for this Memphis team, as they had plenty more hits to go around last night. 9 of them, 9 base hits in the game from Memphis, a team that's in the top 10 in team batting average in the nation. And the first person that gets it started is Kyler Trosclair-Clatt, and she is one who had 3 more hits last night, Jamie, and she's got her average now up to 450 on the year. Bailey Smith hits second, and she is at 473. This team can flat out hit the softball.
Yeah, Trosclair-Clatt was someone that you just could not keep off the base paths last night, and she's someone you definitely want to. I mean, she's your leadoff. She's quick. She provided a lot of opportunities for this Memphis offense last night. Definitely something that I think the defense of Wichita State's going to be looking to kind of cut out today.
I mentioned the wind blowing out last night in today, only 14 miles an hour, so enough to make a difference, but we'll see if we're able to see any home runs today out to left field. The one that Bailey Nickerson hit, it would have gone out, I think, with tornadic winds coming in from center field, because she got every bit of that one. I think that might have ended up in the parking lot of the baseball stadium. You see there over the center field wall. Yeah,
when we saw Nickerson take off with that hit, you had no questions in your mind, and neither did she. You saw the outfielders for Memphis not even take off, and you see it here in the replay from last night. You can't even see the ball because it left so quickly. And here she comes, excited for her team, and man, the freshman really gave it her all in that swing.
But again, those were the only 2 runs Wichita State scored on the 2 solo homers. Derrico's in the first, and the 4th inning home run you just saw from Nickerson. And I wonder what Christy Bredbenner's mindset is, because this team still not hitting the softball the way that we're accustomed to seeing Wichita State teams doing. But again, another terrific pitcher they saw last night as well. So where do you feel like her temperature is right now in terms of this team that has a collective batting average well below what we're used to seeing at 265?
I think that has a lot to do with strength of schedule that we talked about, with Wichita State facing a number of ranked opponents so far this season. They have absolutely been battle tested, and Molly Smith provided that exact type opportunity last night, having an awesome season so far. So Wichita State's been tested offensively. I expect, now that they've had that opportunity, they're absolutely going to be a nice hitting team as they progress through this conference.
Shockers about to take the field, and we'll get this thing going. And this is a 3-game series, Jamie, and I think this is a big game for Wichita State. A very, very competitive American Athletic Conference. Nobody with an RPI higher than 150, so they are all very strong teams, but you certainly don't want to put yourself in a position tomorrow where all you're doing is trying to avoid a sweep. You want to come back and get the win today and set up an opportunity for taking 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, I think a big game today.
Absolutely, and you talked about it yesterday, had the difference in the Missouri Valley Conference that Wichita State was in previous. There was a doubleheader on Saturday, single on Sunday, so it's a whole new clean slate game by game. So this gives Wichita State the chance to really kind of forget yesterday and come in here with a whole new perspective.
There you see Caitlin Bingham, who gets the start for Wichita State. That earned run average certainly gets your attention at 6.65. What does she need to do differently today than what she's done so far this season to get that ERA down and pick up her second win of the year perhaps today?
Caitlin Bingham is a freshman this year, so she's learned a lot so far just with competing against some really great teams, but her biggest struggle is going to be just really trusting herself as a freshman here in this role and knowing that she's facing some great hitters, but she's a great pitcher too, and so as long as she stays confident and trusts her defense, I think she's going to have a nice outing today.
All right, here we go. Kyler Trosclair-Klatt steps in. First pitch of the game is a strike, so it 3:01 Central Time. We're underway on a Saturday afternoon of softball from Wilkins Stadium, Wichita State in Memphis. Glad you've joined us for game 2 of this 3-game set. That one skips in. Perrigan scoops it into the glove. Trosclair-Klatt, 3 hits as I mentioned earlier, 3 for 4, the average at 450. Delaney Smith on deck at 473. Addison Maxwell, who hits third, is at 333. 2 balls and a strike now as that one just missed. How would you like to be a pitcher and face the third hitter in the lineup who's more than 100 points lower than both 1 and 2, and she's still batting 333?
Yeah, I think facing anyone in this Memphis lineup right now is a challenge for any pitcher out there because they are hitting the ball, seeing the ball really well, and really, really aggressive. We noticed yesterday, man, they swing the ball or the bat really hard early in the count.
2 balls and 2 strikes here as Bingham is ready and delivers. Bouncing ball, that's going to be Riley Buck catching the throw from Hecker, and it's a 4-3 put out to get us started. 1 away here in the top of the first inning. Riley Buck, the first baseman. Kaylee Hecker, who made that play at second. Lori Derrico at short. Mackenzie Wright at third. The outfield from left to right. Asia Weber, Bailey Nickerson, and Bailey Lange, and then Perrigan behind the plate with Caitlin Bingham out there center circle for Wichita State, making her 9th start of the season, her 15th overall appearance. As a swing and a miss to Bailey Smith, it's 0-1. Again, 1 and 3 the record for Bingham, 6.65 her earned run average. And her walk to strikeout ratio is something that I know the Shockers would like to see improve. On about 3 hops, Derrico gets a chance at short, makes the most of it, 6-3. 2 up and 2 down. Jamie, Caitlin Bingham, 23 walks on the season, only 22 strikeouts. So more walks than strikeouts. Got to fix that.
Definitely, and you can see her here with this, the first 2 at-bats of this game so far. Definitely hitting her spots, making sure that she's getting some nice ground ball outs, and that's what she should focus on. She's not going to be your dominant strikeout pitcher. Instead, she's focusing to keep the ball low in the zone, make sure that she gets some nice ground ball outs for her defense, and just really keep it, under control as a freshman out there.
That's exactly what you've seen so far. A ground ball to second, then a ground ball that you just saw the replay of to short. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Addison Maxwell, the right fielder. A little bit inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Maxwell, who only had 2 official at-bats last night. She was 1 for 2. She did have an RBI, which was her 15th of the season. There's 1 for a strike, and it's 2-1. Addison Maxwell was involved in 2 sacrifices last night. One of them a bunt in the 3rd inning that moved a runner over, and one of them an RBI sacrifice fly in the 5th inning. Barely gets a piece of that one. The count's even at 2-2. Her 1 hit last night was a 7th inning double. 2-2 with nobody on, 2 outs. Top of the first inning in a scoreless game. And there's strike 3 and a good start on the hill for the Shocker starter, Caitlin Bingham. She retires the side in order after half an inning. Memphis nothing. Shockers coming up on WSU-TV.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Unlike last night, it was a very quick top of the first inning for Memphis. Now the Wichita State Shockers will get their first crack at Mariah Nichols, the right-handed pitcher for Memphis. Mackenzie Wright will be the first one to step in. Bailey Nickerson and Lori Derrico to follow. Shockers had the early lead in last night's game on the first inning home run by Derrico, but Wichita State lost by a run, 3-2. 291 the average for Mackenzie Wright. You can see just one run batted in. You don't expect your leadoff batter to have just a ton of runs batted in, but I know Christy Bredbenner would like to see more than one from Mackenzie, but a lot of that is up to the 7, 8, 9 hitters in particular, getting on base a little bit more often.
Yeah, that's really leaning on the 7, 8, and 9 to provide the power that it takes to bring her around when she's able to lead off and stay on base, you know, toward the end of the lineup or toward the end of the middle half of the game. So, you know, you see Lange in there actually in the 9 hole today, which is different than we saw yesterday. So with her power and athleticism, we might see a little bit of action there from Mackenzie Wright and the Bailey Lange duo.
Coach Brett Benner may be looking for somebody to flip it back to the top of the order that's getting on base a little bit more often, and Bailey Lange certainly has been doing that as of late. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count to Wright, and she sends this one foul, and the count still 1-2. Not a bad crowd at Wilkins Stadium this afternoon. Bundled up again. 60 degrees is not bad, but that wind at around 15 miles an hour out of the north makes it feel a little bit cooler, if not a lot. One and two, and the pitch bounces in. Mariah Nichols for Memphis, the pitcher, making her 16th appearance of the season. This is her 9th start. Very nice earned run average at 1.65. She's won 8 and lost 3 this season, and has pitched in 62 and 2/3 innings coming into the game. The 2-2, and that one tight. The count's run full. In 63 and 2/3 innings, Nichols has given up 49 hits, 15 earned runs. She has walked 20 and struck out 50. Opponents hitting .209 against her, and Jamie, she makes a very nice complimentary pitcher to Molly Smith, who we saw yesterday. What a 1-2 punch these guys have.
Absolutely. The two of them definitely showing a lot of power on the mound so far this season for the Memphis Tigers.
Wright thought that was ball 4, and she headed down to first. Instead, she gets rung up for a strikeout, looking for the first out of the inning. I wouldn't mind getting another look at that one, because Wright thought that, I think, was inside, and from back here it might have looked the same.
Yeah, there's a few pitches just before that Nichols threw that was called a ball on the inside half of the plate, and it looks like maybe Mackenzie Wright thought that ball was just a little too far inside, maybe too close to watch, but definitely not the pitch that she was looking for.
Bailey Nickerson is in now, sending one foul out to the right side. If they measured home runs hit out of this park, I'd like to know what hers was and how it compares to some of the longest home runs hit at Wilkins Stadium, because she just crushed one to center field last night. Down low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Everybody knew it was gone from the time it left her bat. She did. You could tell by her reaction. She almost immediately started looking down to start her home run trot. The outfielders is what I like to watch on that replay. They didn't move almost upon contact. Just standing still all the way. Off speed and upstairs.
Yeah, I think as a hitter, you kind of, once you've hit enough home runs, you know, throughout your career, getting into the college level, you know what that feeling is, and you say, yep, I hit that well enough that better be gone, you know. And sometimes in Wichita, the wind can battle you back on that, but the wind helped her, if anything, not that she needed it in that at bat.
Bounced foul outside the bag at first, where Ryan Stefankowitz, first base coach for Wichita State, is. Of course, he handles the pitching coach duties as well. Shocker head coach Christy Bredbender is over at third. Counts even at the plate to Nickerson. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Outside, and for the second consecutive at bat, Nichols has run the count full. It's 3-2. Bailey's home run last night was her 3rd of the season. She had 2 in the second game of the year against Tennessee Tech back in early February, and none since until last night. Inside, ball 4, and down to first base goes Nickerson. It looked like Nichols was working a similar location with the full count as she did with Mackenzie Wright. That one, she got the strike. That one a little bit farther inside.
Yeah, it looked like that one may have also missed a little low, too, and maybe that's where the umpire was looking for the zone to be a little up higher, which in the last pitch against Wright, it was definitely up in the zone on that inside half, and just missed there for Nichols. So a great little attempt at an opportunity here for the Wichita State offense in that walk for Nickerson.
So here's Lori Derrico now. After picking up her 4th homer of the season last night, swings and misses at the first pitch here. 0-1. Lori had half the Shocker hits last night. She was the only player with more than 1 hit. She went 2 for 3, so she had 2 of the Shockers' 4 base hits last night as she fouls this one back to the screen. 0-2. As we talked about last night, Jamie, I think it's big for Bailey Nickerson. Doesn't even have to get base hits, but just get on base like she did here. She's hitting .271 on the year, but she's surrounded by plenty of good sticks. And if she can continue to get on base, that can bode well for the Shockers up toward the top of the lineup. A swing and a miss here, though, for Derrico, and down goes Lori. That's the 2nd strikeout in 3 batters faced for Mariah Nichols. Now Paige Llewellyn steps in. That one misses low, 1 ball and no strikes. Paige in at .361 with 4 homers and 22 runs batted in.
Paige had an opportunity last night to really get the Shocker offense going and just missed it. She had a nice pop fly out to the outfield, and I know she really wanted a little bit more production out of that because she was up with 2 on and looking to do a little bit for Wichita State that she is known for doing. I mean, she's a game changer. Her bat can absolutely do some big damage to a defense, so she's certainly someone that Wichita State's going to look for a little bit more improvement and change today.
2-0 is outside. Llewellyn is tied or leading the Shockers in a number of offensive categories. She's the leading hitter average-wise amongst all regulars. Neely Herring is batting .500, but that's just in 2 at-bats. But amongst the regulars, it's Llewellyn's .361 that's tops on the team. She takes ball 4 here, and she'll head down to first base. So with 2 outs, the Shockers do have 2 on, both of them via the walk, and now Riley Buck. Time is called, and from behind the plate, Reagan Hadley out to speak with her pitcher. Ashley Thread is at first base for Memphis. Brooke Lee is at second. Kyler Trosclair-Clatt is over at short. Aaron Parker is third. Bailey Smith in left. Delaney Smith in center. Addison Maxwell in right. Hadley behind the plate again. And Mariah Nichols, center circle for Memphis. First pitch to Buck. In there for a strike. You know, Riley would like to get a little bit of redemption. It was her error back in the 5th inning last night that led to Memphis scoring the go-ahead run. So a chance here for Riley to redeem herself after the costly error last night. 0-1. Sliced foul. Nothing into the count to Buck, who's in at .311 on the season with a homer and 10 runs batted in. Barely got a piece of it to stay alive. Still 0-2.
At the recent Creighton tournament that the Shockers were at, Riley Buck actually went 5 for 10 at those 3 games. So certainly someone that you're looking to keep that power going, kind of that consistency at the plate, especially following up some of those really tough hitters at the early half of the Wichita State lineup.
Off speed, sent into right field. That's going to base hit. Christy Bredbender's going to send the runner home from second, and safe at the plate is Nickerson. Wichita State's grabbed a 1-0 lead. Buck ends up going down to second on the throw home, and Paige Llewellyn makes her way to third, so the Shockers may not be through yet, and they've grabbed a 1-0 lead. Nice piece of hitting that time by Riley Buck, Jamie, to take one the other way. Watch Ashley Thread at first. She tried to barehand that ground ball, and a pretty close play at the plate on a pretty good throw, but Nickerson there just in the nick of time. Caitlin Bingham now sends one to the outfield. That's a base hit. It's misplayed in center, and 2 will score. And already Wichita State has outscored what they did in 7 innings last night. It's 3-0 Shockers. Caitlin Bingham picks up RBIs, 7 and 8 on the season. Llewellyn and Buck score, and how about this start for the Shockers, Jamie?
It's a nice job. Caitlin Bingham going straight back up the middle and on the first pitch, nonetheless, that she's seen so far today. So it's a great job from the freshman. You know, as a pitcher, you're coming in, you know you need some insurance runs, and there she gets both Llewellyn and Buck all the way around. And that's a great job from the freshman to say, hey, look, we need a little bit more insurance runs. I don't care what the score is. I want to make sure that we're up and ready to go for the defensive outing we're going to have coming up.
So the Shockers picked up 2 runs on 4 hits last night. In the first inning today, they've got already 3 runs, and half of last night's hit production with 2 already.
That's what the hitting coach really wants to see. That's Elizabeth Economan in her first year, wanting to see some extra power from her hitters day by day, making the necessary changes that they need to and the adjustments they need to have some better at-bats.
And again, this is a pitcher, Mariah Nichols, whose earned run average is 1.65, and opponents only hitting .209 against her coming into the game. As you see the numbers for Asia Weber, the count is 1 ball and no strikes to her. Catches the outside edge. I don't think Weber liked that one. 1-1. It should not be forgotten also that the only reason the Shockers stayed alive this inning were due to 2 walks. Bailey Nickerson walked with 1 out, and with 2 outs, Paige Llewellyn walked, and they've both been brought home to score. So the walks have hurt Memphis early, and the Shockers give them credit. They've capitalized, given some free passes.
Yeah, one of the big adjustments the coaching staff talked about that Wichita State needed to do compared to yesterday is swing at good pitches, you know, and let those bad ones go. You know, swung at a lot of balls out of the zone, and today they're absolutely making the adjustment and making Nichols work a little bit out there on the mound.
Swung on and missed that time by Weber, and the count to Asia is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Weber hitless last night in 3 plate appearances. She was 0 for 3 and had a strikeout. 2-2 on the pitch to Asia, and that one was close. The way Reagan Hadley came up out of her crouch right there, I think she felt like that was strike 3, and she may have just asked the home plate umpire where it was. So the count's full at 3-2. Bingham ready to start her way towards second base. There she goes, and strike 3 called, and down goes Weber, and down go the Shockers, but not before they score 3 times on a couple of hits, a couple of walks helped, and after one, 3-0, Wichita State. Caitlin Bingham has been given a 3-0 lead. Her Shockers bats came alive with 3 runs and 2 hits in the bottom of the first inning. Jamie, you and I were talking during the break. We feel like maybe Wichita State could conceivably still be batting. That was a interesting strike 3 call that we felt was outside to Asia Weber.
Yeah, you can see it kind of continue to float out, and that's called strike 3. You know, we saw Nichols come in and give up a few hits, a few runs, but she actually struck out the side. All 3 outs were retired as Wichita State had their 3 outs be strikeouts, and unfortunately that one looked just a little outside from our view.
So Caitlin Bingham now has the lead at 3-0. Let's see if that changes her approach. Pretty good in the first inning, regardless of in a scoreless game, as she retired the side in order, but it is a nice boost as she's facing Ashley Threat to come out with the 3-0 lead now. Just missed away. Threat, Delaney Smith, and Brooke Lee, 4, 5, and 6 for Memphis here in the inning. There you see Threat's very nice numbers this season, including her .356 batting average. A strike, and the count's 1-2. Threat had a base hit last night in 4 plate appearances. She did strike out twice. Outside, counts even, 2-2. Now time has been called. Ryan Stefankowitz is coming out. And he is going to confer with the third base umpire. I guess an illegal pitch was called there. And Coach Stefankowitz wants to get the interpretation as to why. And he'll head back to the dugout. Could you see anything, Jamie?
You know, when I heard the umpire kind of talk out loud, I think Bingham actually went to ask him, you know, just from their positions right here, and they were talking about it, and he said her back foot came off. So both feet do have to be in contact with the mound before she gets started. So it sounds like she may have just slid back a little bit too much, and he was able to see that from third base.
So the count's 2-2. Bouncer, foul down the first baseline. And the count holds. Ashley Threat is from Big Rock, Tennessee. Went to Stewart County High School there. She is a junior who takes the ball up high, and the count's now full at 3-2. You look at the Tennessee roster, and it's pretty well scattered, Jamie, in terms of where they're getting a lot of their players from. Bouncing ball, nice backhand by Hecker at second. She'll throw to first in time. So Kaylee has had 2 chances. She's made the most of both, and this is a nice play right here that she made look pretty easy.
Yeah, Kaylee Hecker is a very, very good second baseman. She does such an awesome job seeing the ball all the way into her glove, and that's not an easy play, but you're exactly right, Steve. She made it look super easy from here. That's an awesome pickup from the freshman.
Nice job by our crew right there to pick that up and get the replay in now. Here's Delaney Smith stepping in and taking one downstairs. Smith's batting average .387, Jamie. They just keep coming at you, don't they?
That's so impressive. I mean, especially when you've gotten this deep into your season so far. She's seen a lot of great teams with her Memphis team so far before conference play. So to have such a great batting average coming into conference, it's got to feel good.
1 ball and 1 strike. The count's even. Now a bunt that goes foul. That's another thing that has to sting about last night's game. Memphis did pick up 9 hits, Jamie, but only 3 runs. And you have to feel like when you hold Memphis to 3 runs, you've really done something out in the circle, and it's a shame your bats didn't capitalize. One ball and 2 strikes. And down she goes. So the second strikeout of the game for Caitlin Bingham. It's been 5 up, 5 down so far for Memphis, and there's 2 away.
Bingham coming off of her offensive showing just now in the first inning for Wichita State with 2 RBIs. Definitely looking like that gave her a little boost on the mound. She's working quick and effectively so far defensively for Wichita State.
Brooke Lee tried to check her swing, and on the appeal, they say she did do just that. So 1 ball and no strikes to her. Another hitter over 300, as you can see. 5 homers and 21 runs batted in. Chopped foul over toward the on-deck circle on the third base side, where Reagan Hadley, the catcher, is with her shin guards on, with there being 2 away. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Brooke Lee. For a team that hits as well as Memphis does average-wise, they also have pretty good pop as the pitch is chopped foul. Memphis with 15 home runs on the season, and they also have a slugging percentage of .485. So it's not just a team that slaps it around and hits for average. They can hit for some power as well. Another chance for Hecker, and Kaylee makes the most of it. 6 up, 6 down for Memphis so far through 1.5. Shockers coming to the plate. They've got a 3-run lead.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, the well-bundled crowd here at Wilkins Stadium has seen the Shockers jump out to a nice 3-0 lead, and they've also watched Caitlin Bingham retire Memphis in order in both of the first 2 innings. So it's been 6 up, 6 down for the Tigers, and the Shockers with a 3-0 lead. Steve Strain and Jamie Hull with you on a Saturday afternoon in Game 2 of this 3-game series to start conference play, and Madison Paragon will step in first here in the inning for Wichita State. Home plate umpire had walked up the third base line with the third base umpire, and they were both chatting with Christy Bredbender, and now the third base umpire is doing something around the end of the dugout, speaking with somebody, might even be a member of our crew. So we've got a bit of a delay for just a couple of seconds, and I think we're about ready. Any idea what that's about?
Couldn't tell you. From what I can tell, it looks like he is talking into the dugout, maybe even closer to where the coaches stand. And you see head coach Christy Bredbender at third base kind of nodding as a yes. So must be something related to the field that needed to just kind of be changed up that she's used to seeing regularly. And I think we're ready for play now.
So it'll be Madison Perrigan stepping in. Bailey Lange and Mackenzie Wright to follow. 8-9-1 for Wichita State as the Shockers brought 7 to the plate in the first inning and scored 3. First pitch to Perrigan, a strike, 0-1. Down low.
You saw in that stat there, Madison Perrigan has 16 RBIs on the season. 13 of those have come in the month of March. So this has absolutely been her month to shine, and I'm sure they're looking for her to continue to do that through the rest of her sophomore season.
Bouncing ball, right side, and to her right goes Brooke Lee, and she'll fire to first in time. Perrigan retired 4-3 for the first out of the second inning. So here's Bailey Lange now. Bailey not handling pitching duties in game 2 of this series, at least so far. She's starting in right field this afternoon. Paige Llewellyn is not starting in right. However, she is the designated player in the lineup, but it's Lange in right field that takes a strike, 0-1. Still a steady breeze out of the north in from left field as Lange takes away 1 ball and 1 strike. Jamie, we've talked much about Lange's versatility as you see the wind whipping the flags here at Wilkins Stadium. We've talked about Bailey's versatility as a hitter in addition to being a very good pitcher, and her batting average is up close to 300 now, but just adds to her value to this team when she can play a position like right field as she grounds out to first here, but still, when you have talent in so many areas, you're going to find a way to make the softball field no matter what it is coach asks you to do.
Yeah, she's just not your traditional 9-hole hitter in Bailey Lange. You know, you typically see a lefty kind of slapper, bunt, short game, super quick. She's very quick, but she's going to have a lot of power. We've seen her hit balls off the wall in the 9-hole spot, so definitely someone who's going to give you some last-minute chances there toward the bottom of your lineup.
Mackenzie Wright fouls one off to the right side, 0-1. Wright was caught looking in the first inning. There's a good look at Mackenzie, and you can see she's got the face paint working today, Jamie, for this afternoon game. Counts even at 1-1.
Yeah, we always talk about Mackenzie Wright down the third base line with that very intimidating face paint. She was pumped before today's game. She's ready to really do some big things in the new conference as a senior and kind of leave this team with everything she's got.
Count is even to right here in the 1-1. Lifted out near the bag at second base, and it's going to be Lee that makes the catch, and the Shockers go quietly in order in the second. We go to the third, 3-0 Wichita State.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, a very quick second inning, 6 up, 6 down in the second. So we are now making our way to the third, and it's 3-0. Wichita State's got the lead as Caitlin Bingham is out for her third inning of work. She'll face Reagan Hadley, the catcher, first. Kendall Lee and Aaron Parker to follow. It's 7-8-9 from Memphis in the third because Bingham has retired the side in order in each of the first 2 innings so far. And the first pitch to Hadley is in there for a strike, 0-1. Hadley had a base hit last night in just 2 plate appearances. She also was issued a walk as she chops this one foul. And good job by Bingham here, Jamie. And we've seen Caitlin already. She's got a couple of strikeouts, and she's getting ahead in the count, and she is here 0-2.
Yeah, so far 4 out of the 7 at bat, she's had a first pitch strike, and that's really going to put you at the advantage as a pitcher to be able to pitch what you want, and you can kind of go out of the zone, make the hitters come after the pitches that you're throwing, and so far she's been successful doing that.
And she's also been successful in doing that right there, getting ground balls. That one happened to go foul, but Jamie, the other outs outside of the 2 strikeouts are 4 ground outs, 3 of them to second base.
Yep, Kaylee Hecker's got her work cut out for her today, it sounds like.
The 0-2 is way outside, but it speaks to what you talked about earlier at the top of the broadcast, and what Caitlin is trying to do is get ground balls. And so when she is getting them, then she is on her game, and she's got the command where she wants it. That one got away from her upstairs, 2-2.
Yeah, you really got to limit the hard hits. And so far, we haven't seen a whole lot of those today from the Memphis Tigers. Seen a lot of ground balls, 1 to shortstop, a few to the second base. So that's going to be your goal, is to keep your defense active, keep them involved, because as we mentioned earlier, that's what Caitlin Bingham's looking to do today.
Hold foul, 2-2. Natalie Poole is down at third base. She is the 7th year head coach of Memphis. Andy Lott is her assistant coach, who is also in his 7th season and over at first base. Swing and a miss. They're going to have to throw to first, so it's going to be a 2-3 strikeout. 3rd strikeout of the game for Bingham now, and she's retired all 7 she's faced. And Kendall Lee will step up now. It's not just the strikeouts either, Jamie, but the 3 she's had, she really seems to be fooling or freezing these Memphis hitters. She's really got them guessing up there.
Yeah, she had a little off speed on that last pitch to Hadley, and, you know, throwing it in the dirt. Again, that's a pitcher's pitch. She wants to keep it low. She wants to keep it out of the zone, but she wants to fool you. And when you're ahead, you're able to do a little bit of that. So she's absolutely looking like she's in command.
Another ground ball. That one underneath the glove of Mackenzie Wright. And 9 times out of 10, Mackenzie's going to get that play. I think she might have looked up a little bit too soon. Looked like that was one that we'll normally see Mackenzie make. Wasn't too far to the outside of Wright. I think she just raised up on it or didn't go down far enough. Either way, a runner at first base. That's the first base runner of the game for Memphis. Kendall Lee on at first. Here's Aaron Parker now. Parker takes high and away. Parker, the number 9 batter in the Memphis lineup. She was 0 for 2 last night. Showing bunt, now a snap throw to first, and Kendall Lee is back. They have given Mackenzie Wright an error over at third. Get another look at that play over at third base, and you can see Mackenzie, oh, this is the play to first, I beg your pardon. Pretty close play and a good throw there by Perrigan.
Yeah, Kendall Lee doesn't have any stolen base attempts so far this year, so I think she might be staying there, but it's a good job by Perrigan to keep her on her toes over there, because you never know. If you're off too far, you got a chance of picking up a big second out for this inning.
High for a ball. There was only 1 error committed in last night's game, but that was the big one we touched on earlier. It was Riley Buck at first base on a bunt attempt, throwing over to the second baseman. Hecker covering the bag at first, but the throw was to the second base side, and Hecker had to step off the bag in order to make the catch. Ball 4, and down to first base goes Parker, and all of a sudden Memphis has something brewing here, first and second with 1 away. So down to second base goes Lee. Parker's at first, and the bad news is, Jamie, now you go back to that very, very, very dangerous top of the order, starting with Kyler Trosclair-Klatt. And that turns this into a really big at-bat for Caitlin Bingham. That one was close, but called a ball. I presume it was up high. Looked to be about letter high from here, at worst.
Trosclair-Klatt is leading this Memphis Tigers team in RBIs with 25 so far this season. Looking to pick up a few more with Caitlin Bingham on the opposite end of that, looking to make sure that that doesn't happen this inning.
And just when you talk about Bingham's ability to get ahead in the count, now she's behind and at the wrong time to do it. With 2 on and 1 out, the count's 2-0. There's a strike she badly needed, and it's 2-1.
That might have been a little bit of a insurance makeup call. The first pitch of this at bat certainly much closer than that one. I think you might see Poole here, Coach Poole, actually asking maybe if that was a swing attempt or if it was an actual called strike. And to my knowledge so far from what the umpire has indicated, that was a called strike. So might have been a little makeup call for Caitlin Bingham.
2 balls and a strike, the count at the plate. So a pretty big at bat right here. 2-1 with 2 on, 1 away, top of the 3rd inning. Wichita State up 3-0, but Memphis is threatening, and Trosclair-Klatt is going to go to second, and she dropped the ball. Did Hecker? Now they're going to say out between first and second. Hecker dropped the ball, and the umpire initially signaled out, and then he changed, or safe, excuse me, then he changed his call to call her out.
It'll be interesting to see how this turns out, because I think what Hecker was doing was actually making the tag as she ran by, and then on the transfer to go into her glove to get the ball to try for Trosclair-Klatt at first, had a little bobble and the ball came out. So I think on the transfer, she certainly dropped it, but on the tag, it looked like she had made the play.
We're going to get another look at it as the umpires confer. But you're exactly right. Hecker tried to apply the tag, dropped the ball. Watch the umpire. I thought we got multiple calls. I thought initially he said safe and then called her out. A very bizarre play. And the out call is going to stand. And that's not going to make Natalie Poole happy. And she's already barking at the umpires about that, but that's a big, big second out, Jamie, regardless of whether it was a right call or not. The entire complexion of this inning has just changed now with 2 away.
That's honestly a huge play from Hecker, too. You can't take that away from her. When it comes to making a ground ball out and tagging someone around the same time as she's about to pass through you, I mean, that's some athleticism right there. And she went right in her path. And Kaylee Hecker was able to keep her composure, make the play, make the tag. And it became a little controversial because she did, in fact, drop it on the transfer. But she absolutely made the out there. And I think that was a great call by the umpire staff.
Now, can Bingham do away with Bailey Smith? A perfect first pitch for a strike, 0-1. So you get a big second out. Still only 1 runner in scoring position with that out. And also, Trosclair-Klatt's a very good hitter. All she did was ground into a fielder's choice. Now she's trying to steal second. She's in a rundown, and out she is. Tagged out by Derrico, and that's that. Oh, Memphis ran themselves out of this inning with 1 out. They had 2 on. And then a ground into a fielder's choice and a caught stealing, and down they go. Madison Perrigan starts it. Lori Derrico finishes it with the tag. Shockers coming up after 2.5. They'll have a 3-0 lead. 3-1, excuse me. Ready for the bottom of the third inning. Wichita State up trying to add to their 3-0 lead, and Bailey Nickerson will be the first to get a crack at that against Mariah Nichols. And the first pitch to Bailey is away for a ball. Jamie, we saw a couple of base running miscues for Memphis last night, and obviously it didn't come back to haunt them. They won the game still, but I think that was a little bit of a mistake right there. And Claire Klatt going to second base. Then she might have had the bag had she gone on ahead and slid, but put the skids on, then got chased down by Derrico. Fouled out of play.
Yeah, Claire Klatt is now 7 for 10 on the season in stolen base attempts. So, I think in that situation they were looking to maybe bait the throw, and then maybe she could have gotten into a rundown to potentially get the score, but went a little too far, and it worked out in Wichita State's favor to be within reaching distance of the throw and get her out. So you're exactly right. Yesterday we saw a few miscues on the bases. We also saw a few, Memphis Tigers actually out of the box when they hit the ball too. So they got themselves out a few times, gave Wichita State a few opportunities that unfortunately didn't fall into their favor at the end of the game.
I think there's a discussion with the home plate umpire about which softball that Reagan Hadley, the catcher, and Mariah Nichols, the pitcher, want to use. And Nichols is going to get another one and check it out, and I think we're good to go. Bailey Nickerson walked in the first inning, Jamie, and that was a walk that came back to hurt Memphis because she later scored in the inning. In fact, 2 walks issued by Nichols in the first inning that came around, both of them, to score 2 of the 3 Shocker runs. This time she slices one the other way. This one's going to get to the fence, and Nickerson is going to get to second base. Addison Maxwell started in on that, Jamie, and then had to go back, and by the time she did and retrieved that one, Nickerson was well on her way to second base. Good job going the other way for Bailey right here.
Yeah, talk about this power, because that just was on some sort of different line, because it absolutely fooled, the outfielder there. So then she goes all the way to second base. That's a nice little leadoff double that Wichita State could use to kind of, add a little bit of insurance runs here in the third inning.
So here's Lori Derrico now. Off speed and in there for his strike, 0-1. Bailey Nickerson starting to pile up the doubles. That's her 5th of the season, Jamie. That puts her into a tie for second place on the team. Bailey Lange also has 5 doubles on the year. This one's going to get through into center field. That's going to be a base hit. Nickerson being waved around. Here comes the throw. It's wide, and down to second base goes Derrico after the RBI single, and the Shockers lead is 4-0. So for Lori, run batted in, number 18 on the season. It'll be an RBI single, advancing home to second on the throw home, and coming home was Bailey Nickerson.
Ground ball that you can put in the right spot. When you go up the middle with the ground ball, that's a tough play for any defense, and Derrico did exactly that. In the books, that's going to be looked at as just a good old RBI. Doesn't really matter where it went. Probably not her best hit that she'll have this season, but definitely one that came at the right time to get a nice little insurance run for the Shockers.
Here's Paige Llewellyn now, who walked back in the first inning. She was one of the 2 who walked and scored that inning. Shockers have now doubled what they scored last night in 7 innings, and we're only in the 3rd. They scored 2 last night. They've scored 4 today. They also have already matched last night's hit total, which was 4. Here, they've done it in just 3 innings, really 2 innings and a few batters. Down and in. There goes the runner to third, and the throw will not be there, and Derrico gets to third base.
It's a nice look from Derrico. It's not common that you're going to be able to get to third base in a softball game when there's just a small bobble at the plate. It's like she saw it right off of the hand of Nichols, knowing that it was going to go into the dirt, and there she is taking third base standing up. That's a great call from Derrico. A nice little heads-up play.
Still nobody out here in the inning, so the Shockers with a golden opportunity to add to their 4-0 lead. Paige, bouncer to third. Parker will throw to first. And Derrico stays put over at third base for a big first out for Memphis. And I want to go back to something we talked about in the first inning when Bailey Nickerson walked, how valuable it is for her right now to get on base, the way that the bats around her have come around, like Lori Derrico, like Paige Llewellyn, and we've seen that come to fruition again here, Jamie. Nickerson gets a base hit, and Derrico brings her home. That production out of the 2 spot is starting to become more and more noticeable for Wichita State, and hats off to Bailey Nickerson.
And Buck, you see right here up to the plate was the person that was in that second hole. And, you know, now in the 5th hole, she's doing a great job too. Still has a nice little batting average of above 300. So she's able to be moved around a little bit and see where she can be best of a producer for this offense as well.
Swing and a miss for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Riley, who singled back in the first inning. Also later scored in the inning. One and one. Bouncer to short, down to an E. Trosclair Clatt. And a throw to first in time, and Derrico's got to stay at third. So a good job by Mariah Nichols of settling down. She's gotten a pair of ground outs to the left side of the infield, and that keeps Lori Derrico over there at third base.
Definitely. This Memphis defense has definitely become a little bit tighter just within the last few at-bats. Looks like Nichols is able to kind of settle in a little bit, has been hitting her spots, moving the ball nicely from what we can tell with our view, and got out some pretty great offensive powers in Wichita State.
Now Caitlin Bingham is in and takes a ball 1-0. Caitlin, the pitcher for Wichita State, is also offensively a big reason why the Shockers are leading. She had the 2 RBI single in the first inning. 2 balls and no strikes to count as you look at Lori Derrico over at third base. Down low, 3-0. Asia Weber waits on deck. 11 o'clock first pitch tomorrow, Central Time. We'll have it for you right here again on WSU-TV. There's a strike. Bingham taking all the way, 3-1.
I wouldn't be surprised if Nichols kept this ball away from Bingham. You know, she's hot so far this game. She's got a lot of momentum, both as a pitcher and a hitter so far. And Weber struck out looking last time, so she might be looking to pitch around her a little bit.
There's ball 4, and down to first base goes Bingham, and another walk issued by Mariah Nichols. And so Asia Weber will make her way to the plate. And the Shockers with runners at the corners. So the Shockers, who plated 3 in the first inning, have 1 home here in the third, but looking for more. Runners at the corners, 2 away for Asia Weber, who was caught looking back in the first inning. And now time is called. Conversation center of the circle. So an 11 o'clock first pitch tomorrow, Jamie. Who's bringing the scrambled eggs?
I'll bring the eggs if you bring the warmth, because I have a feeling that early in the morning it might be a little chilly out here.
I try to bring warmth everywhere I go.
It's a really good personal statement. You should stick with that.
Okay.
I liked it.
Well, all right, conversation through. Weber is in. I try. First pitch to Asia, down and away. Good stop by Hadley. She had to scoop that one up and saved a run. 1 ball and no strikes. Right on the outside edge and let her high, but a strike. And the count's now even 1-1.
Hadley's been very impressive behind the plate. You can tell she's keeping her pitchers under control, both from yesterday with Smith, today with Nichols. She's really framing the ball well, really hustling so far. So hats off to her for doing a fantastic job thus far in the American.
2 balls and a strike. The count to Weber. Asia bringing up the rear in batting average for this starting lineup at 214. In your opinion, what's Asia got to do to get it going?
Really just kind of start doing the little things right. You know, swing at the good pitches. I think we saw her swing at some stuff outside of the zone yesterday. And then today deciding to lay off of that pitch and then getting rung up. So, you know, it's just, you know, being a hitter it's hard to stay consistent, but that's really what it's all about. Just do the little things right. Make contact when it's close. And so far in this at-bat, she's looked much better than she has in recent ones.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and 2 on. Just misses away. And you can tell that Mariah Nichols is really working the outside part of the plate, and I think Reagan Hadley framed that and wanted it for her pitcher and asked the umpire, I think, again where that was, if it was out of the zone. The count's now full. Big pitch here and a bouncing ball, and that's going to get through on the right side. That's going to score a run. Up the right field line is coming home to score is Derek O, and Wichita State now up by the score of 5-0. That one was at Ashley Threat, and it was really a hot shot, Jamie. Not an easy one to handle, but she did have it deflect off of her and up the right field line.
That was a really hard hit. Asia Weber just pulling it down the line. And honestly, you know, off the bat, I thought it might even be foul with how hard it came off of her bat. But it was clearly fair right at the first baseman Threat and right off of her leg out into right field, giving the opportunity to Wichita State to get that run in Derrico.
So that's going to be ruled as a base hit. Weber gets the RBI. That's her 9th of the season. And Wichita State's got it going now, up 5-0, and Memphis is going to go to their bullpen and make a pitching change right here as the Shockers now up 5-0. Christian Novak. So Novak is the new pitcher for Memphis. You know, it's funny, Jamie, because we talk so much about Molly Smith and what a dominating pitcher she is, and Mariah Nichols, 1.65 ERA, 8-3 her record. Opponents only hitting .209 against her, and the Shockers pounded out 5 runs and 5 hits, including that one right there that led to the 5th run of the game, a hit by Asia Weber. But great job of hitting against, I would assume, a highly unheralded pitcher in Mariah Nichols based on what her teammate normally does.
Yeah, you can see there in the frame, that's Coach Econom in there that's just, you know, nodding her head at her hitters, says, yep, we've made the adjustments today. And just like you said, you know, Smith yesterday, Nichols today, both very good pitchers for this Memphis defense. And Wichita State's made the offensive adjustments they needed to see themselves really produce, and, you know, in different ways than yesterday. We saw their runs coming from long ball home runs, and today they're just doing the little things right, not leaving a lot of runners on base, and that's going to produce some run opportunities for your offense.
Now Madison Paragon with a chance to really blow this thing open. 5-0 Wichita State. Runners at second and third, 2 away. As Novak is now center circle for Memphis, and the first pitch to Paragon in tight for a ball, 1-0. This is the first pitching appearance of the season for Christian Novak. The 1-0 is high and away. She's from Nevada, Missouri, went to Nevada High School. Christian Novak, a senior, right-handed pitcher. 2 balls and no strikes, the count at the plate to Madison Paragon. And that one caught the outer half. It's a strike, 2-1.
Coming into today, Novak had 52 career starts as a pitcher for Memphis. And as you mentioned, Steve, today being her first one, or at least her first appearance anyways, so far this season in her senior year.
2-1, and the pitch off speed and in there. That was a pretty pitch. She really took something off of that, and Paragon caught looking. 2-2. Caitlin Bingham, the runner, at third. Asia Weber is over at second. Wichita State leading by the score of 5-0. Foul back to the screen. Shockers have 3 base hits in the inning. There's also been a walk. Here's the 2-2. Over to third and fielded there by Parker, who will throw to first in time, and that'll retire the side. So the Shockers leave 2, but they score 2, and we'll go to the fourth. 5-0 Wichita State.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Shocker fans enjoying this one so far. 5-0. Wichita State's got the lead as the Shockers have pounded out 5 hits in addition to getting the 5 runs. They've done it with small ball today, no homers, but Wichita State has certainly moved them around. And they'll be the dangerous 2, 3, and 4 part of the Memphis lineup that'll face Caitlin Bingham here in the 4th inning, starting with Bailey Smith, who was at the plate in the last inning when Kyler Trosclair-Clatt was caught stealing. So Smith will get another crack. Bingham ready and delivers, and a good one's a strike. Well, you've got to think that this is just what Caitlin Bingham needed, Jamie, to get off to such a good start, but also to get the support behind her from the offense. She can probably breathe a whole lot easier right now with the score being 5-0.
Yeah, there's nothing like being ahead in a count, but being ahead in a game by a few runs, some insurance runs that even you provided as one of those offensive powerhouses for Wichita State in this game. She's got some momentum. Now it's just a matter of really sticking with it. You know, when we talk about doing the small things right, not trying to do too much. So far, she's been awfully productive from both the offensive and defensive side so far for Wichita State.
Bingham had a 2 RBI first inning single. She also walked in that last inning, the 3rd, but was stranded at 3rd. However, she's been on base both times. Looking to get a 6-3 put out here. Derrico helps. Lori does it. 1 away. So Bailey Smith has grounded out twice to Derrico. She's 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts right there to shortstop.
The 7th ground ball out for Caitlin Bingham. And that's awesome. And the other outs have been strikeouts. So she's done a great job just having command on the mound and really having her defense help her out defensively, keeping the ball low and keeping the ball in the infield.
And they're pretty much all up the middle, too, to either second or short. All the ground ball outs. 1 ball and no strikes to Addison Maxwell, who takes a ball, and the count's now 2-0. Maxwell has not grounded out, as you can see. She's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Up high for a ball, 3-0. Maxwell, not much of a power hitter. No homers on the season. She's only got 3 doubles, but pretty proficient at getting on base with that .333 average starting the day and a .414 on base percentage. And speaking of, she's going to do that here as she draws the 1-out walk. That's the 2nd walk issued by Caitlin Bingham this afternoon. So a runner at first with 1 out for Ashley Threat. Chopped foul at the plate, 0-1 to Threat. Threat's got one of those ground outs up the middle back in the second inning. She led off the inning by grounding to second.
I'm sure Bingham would like to see something like that here. That would absolutely give them a chance to get out of the inning. Ground ball to second base. Nice little double play. If she can keep it going the way she has, she'll do that here.
Pitch way upstairs. Perrigan can't haul it in. It goes back to the net. And heading to second base is Addison Maxwell. So Memphis with now a runner in scoring position with one away. That one's through on the right side for a base hit. And they're going to stop the runner at third. That one got into the outfield in such a hurry that Natalie Poole could not send Maxwell around third. She'll stop her right there. A one-out single, though, for Ashley Threat.
First hit of the ball game given up by Caitlin Bingham. Definitely not coming in the, the most opportune time for Wichita State, but definitely providing the Memphis offense an opportunity of having some quick ones on the base paths. A little opportunity for them to maybe put their first run up on the board today.
This is day 2 of American Athletic Conference softball. Central Florida knocked off Tulsa last night, 1-0. South Florida, an 8-0 shutout over UConn, and East Carolina over Houston 3-2. There you see that one so hot to the outfield in such a hurry that the wise choice was to hold Maxwell at third, and she got the stop sign right there. So Coach Stefankowicz returns to the dugout, and Delaney Smith stepping in now. Smith is one of 2 strikeout victims for Caitlin Bingham, one of 3, strikeout victims on the day. Hers came back in the second inning. Low and away for a ball, 1-0.
Smith does have some power. She's got 2 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run on the season, 500 slugging average.
Outside for a ball, 2-0. Infield looks for the double play. Here comes the pitch. And that one close, but misses, and the count's now 3-0. Delaney Smith is one of 3 Smiths on this Memphis team. As Memphis is going to get a courtesy runner over at first base. Looks like Sarah Ann Davidson is going to be the courtesy runner over at first. Memphis has a Delaney Smith, a Bailey Smith, and of course, Molly Smith, the pitcher we saw yesterday. 2 of them are from Tennessee in different cities. Molly Smith is from Oregon. 3 balls and a strike, the count at the plate. That's a lot of Smiths. When you're Natalie Poole, you can't just say, Smith, get in there. You'll have 3 people running to the same place. Up high, ball 4. And down to first goes Delaney Smith, and they are loaded with Tigers here in the top of the 4th inning. And if you're Christy Bredbender and Ryan Stefankowicz, this is the last thing you wanted to see your pitcher do. As we talked about, given a 5-run lead, just get up there and throw strikes. And instead, there's a walk right there. 1 of 2 in the inning, and now Memphis has them loaded, and all of a sudden the tying run is standing on deck, and Reagan Hadley. Brooke Lee is about to step in now.
Yeah, Brooke Lee coming in as a senior, knowing that this is an opportunity she can't pass up. She's really got to do her best to have her best at bat so far this weekend, happening right here with a lot of insurance runs around the horn here for them. They want to get all 3 of these in, potentially even more with only 1 out. Caitlin Bingham for the Shockers really needing to settle in here and get her defense out of this situation.
Wright's got the grounder, the throw to the plate, and out at the plate is going to be Maxwell coming home on the force, 5-2. Good job by Wright, and a better job by Perrigan who had to stretch forward right there and get the out. 5-2 at the plate. That's a big second out.
It's a huge out, and you see Mackenzie Wright in the replay actually coming up on this ball. She sees it right off the end of the bat, comes up, makes the throw. Great job from Peregrine to really keep her foot there and make sure that that out is secured. And right before that, you saw...
This one's going to get away from Peregrine behind the plate, and a run's going to score. It's 5-1.
So I was going to say before that happened is Mackenzie Wright actually, as a senior on the infield here, pulled everyone together right before that last play and said, you know what, let's kind of pick up everything, let's refocus. And that shows a lot of senior leadership. And then to come up and make a big play like that's a really big deal. And the unfortunate wild pitch there does, though, bring in the first run for the Tigers.
And it also sends Delaney Smith to third. Brooke Lee is now down at second base, as the count is 2 balls and no strikes at the plate to Reagan Hadley. So Memphis finally gets on the board. They've had their first run and their first hit, both in this inning. Upstairs, and now Caitlin Bingham, rattled a little bit, has lost command. It's 3-0. Peregrine has called time. She wants to go talk with her pitcher. Reagan Hadley is one of 3 strikeout victims for Bingham this afternoon. In fact, she's the last strikeout victim as well. That came in the 3rd inning. Hadley struck out swinging. There's ball 4, down and in, and Hadley goes down to first base. And Christy Bredbetter might be going to the bullpen now, as that's the 3rd walk of the inning issued by Caitlin Bingham, and indeed pitching change being made as Coach Bredbetter wants to try and stop the bleeding. So that'll do it for Caitlin Bingham, who was really good through 3, but may have just run out of gas here in the 4th inning, as she's issued 3 walks. Bailey Klitsky, who was terrific out of the pen last night for Wichita State, has come into the circle now.
You could really tell there toward the end of the outing for Bingham that she was tightening up quite a bit. And, she was probably starting to overdo it. And so that's your perfect chance to see a new pitcher come in. And Bailey Klitsky, who did a great job yesterday in her outing, hopefully can do a little bit of that for the Wichita State defense here.
Klitsky, 3 innings of shutout ball. She gave up just 2 hits in 3 innings, walked 1 and struck out 3. So she faced 9 batters and struck out a 1/3 out of them, and now she's trying to hold Memphis's bats at bay right here. Coach Bredbetter is talking to Caitlin Bingham outside the first baseline right there. And Caitlin's day, at least in the circle, appears to be done, as Wichita State now will try to deal with Kendall Lee, who is the 7th batter to bat in the inning for Memphis.
Today you notice Wichita State wearing a little different looking jersey. This is their day to really start fundraising some for a charity, and that's for that retinal blindness. It's a degenerative disease in the eye, and that's really close to Coach Bredbetter, as she does have a friend who has a son who has the retinal blindness disease. He's doing much better now with the help of the fundraising that continues to go on throughout the world, and Wichita State's one of those places that loves to do that. So these jerseys are for sale and can certainly help with that cause.
So here's Kendall Lee, takes one down low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Lee is 0 for 1. She reached on an error back in the 3rd inning. That was that error by Mackenzie Wright, charging in on a ground ball, then raised up a little soon. Good looking pitch. That one tailed back in to catch the outside edge. 1-1. Bailey Klitsky making her 13th appearance of the season. All but 2 of them have been in relief. Swing and a miss for a strike, 1-2. 3.59 her earned run average, 5-1 is her record. In 27 of the third innings, Klitsky has allowed 14 earned runs, walked 20, struck out 30. Opponents batting .255 against her. Here's the 1-2. Fouled over toward the on-deck circle on the first base side. Still 1-2.
Klitsky coming from the left side, so definitely an adjustment that the Memphis Tigers are going to have to make as they do see a shift from Bingham on the right. Now Klitsky to the left. Yesterday seeing both Lange and Klitsky from the left side maybe gave him a little bit of an opportunity, heads up on that, but could see that being something that could throw him off here.
The 1-2 lifted on the infield, and it's going to be up the first baseline. Riley Buck making the catch, and the side retired, and Memphis leaves them loaded. So the Shockers give up one, but once again, Klitsky limits the damage once she comes in. We go to the bottom of the fourth, 5-1 Shockers.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, it took Memphis 4 innings to finally get on the board. They also got that first hit in the game in the 4th inning as well. But Wichita State still in command. As you can see, each team has identical run totals and hit totals. Wichita State, 5 of each, runs and hits. Memphis, 1 of each, runs and hits. So here's Bailey Lange to lead it off for Wichita State. Then back to the top of the order with Mackenzie Wright and Bailey Nickerson at 9, 1, and 2. And the first pitch to Lange is a ball, 1-0. Christian Novak starts her first full inning for Memphis. She came on in relief in the bottom of the 3rd inning and out there now to start the bottom of the 4th. That one up high, 2-0. Bailey bounced back to the pitcher back in the 2nd inning, so she is 0 for 1. Down low, and it's 3-0. They will appeal, actually, and yeah, she checked her swing.
This is huge for Lange to get on here for the Shockers. She's definitely a threat on the base paths. 7 for 7 so far this season in stolen bases. That's the 2nd most in the American so far this season. So would be a huge pickup here for Wichita State.
Taking all the way, and it's in there for a strike, 3-1. Lange had been hitting out of the number 8 spot. Now she's moved down to number 9. Madison Perrigan, I should say, is taking a big drop today. She had been hitting 5th, and now she is down to number 8. So it's Perrigan at the 8, Lange at the 9 today. Here's the 3-1, lifted foul left side. That's going to tail out of play. So the count's full at 3-2. The full count pitch, swung on, ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. And Wichita State's got their leadoff batter aboard as Bailey Lange, a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 4th. Nice piece of hitting, Jamie, as Lange goes right back up to shoot.
Yep, again, Novak doing a great job getting a ground ball out of Bailey Lange, but just in the right spot is Lange going all the way through the middle, all the way out into the outfield, getting a nice little pickup for her Shocker team, and starting them off with a single is a great opportunity here for Mackenzie Wright.
This might be just the perfect situation for Mackenzie to start racking up RBIs. There's a swing and a miss. Runner going to second is thrown out. Shockers may have had the hit and run on right there, but Lange caught stealing. 2-6 and a swing and a miss at the plate to Mackenzie Wright.
Again, you got to give a shout out to Hadley for Memphis, you know, coming up strong with a nice throw all the way down to second base, and you can see Trosclair Clack coming in with a nice tag. That's the first time Bailey Lange's been thrown out this season, so hats off to them. Nice little play for the Memphis Tigers.
Well, now Mackenzie's going to have to hit a home run if she wants her second RBI of the season. I was just about to say that with Mackenzie at 1 run batted in on the season, it might help getting Bailey Lange down there batting in the 9 spot. But Lange caught stealing here, and there's one away. Outside, 2-1. Bailey Lange had been 7 for 7 in stolen base attempts this season, so you'd said she was perfect, and that was in 7 tries. Lange leads the team in stolen bases with those 7. Two balls in his strike. The pitch to Mackenzie upstairs. You've talked much about the athleticism of Bailey Lange and her hitting and pitching and playing in right field today. That's something we've not talked much about, is her speed on the base paths and her smarts as well to go 7 for 7 until getting thrown out right there. 3-1, the count to Mackenzie Wright. And there for a strike, and the count's now full.
Mackenzie looking to get her first hit of the day today. Certainly a leader offensively and defensively for this Wichita State lineup. Someone who typically is going to pick up a hit at least one time a game. Someone who's going to make sure that she's doing something to keep the rally going, and we'll see if she can pick up something here against Novak.
Counts full, the pitch to Mackenzie. Ball 4, and down to first base goes Wright. Mackenzie draws a 1-out walk. So a runner at first with 1 away, and now Bailey Nickerson will step in, who's doing a much better job of getting on base. Certainly in this game, she has walked and singled. Nickerson was also 1 for 3 last night with a run batted in. High and tight for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. The count to Nickerson.
Seen a little bit of a change here in the strike zone for home plate umpire. You've seen some frustration of both Hadley and Novak for Memphis, kind of looking down at the dugout saying, hey, I don't think that one's going to be flying anymore. And that's that inside high pitch that was called a strike earlier in the game.
Good off-speed pitch in there for his strike. 1-1. Nickerson is the only Shocker who has scored twice today. Runs scored in the first and the third. Lori Derrico, Paige Llewellyn, and Riley Buck have all scored once, and that rounds out the 5 runs Wichita State has scored today. And there for a strike. And Novak is bending over out in the circle. She is hurt. And she is in a lot of pain. Not sure what happened there, but she is looking like she's in a lot of pain, Jamie. I didn't see what happened. It was right after the pitch.
Yeah, it looked like she dug her foot into the dirt and maybe her knee got caught up. You know, this is her first appearance so far this season, so you got to wonder if that's a reoccurring injury that she's been facing so far as an athlete in college. You can see her thankfully walking off the field with a little bit of help, but you can see here in the replay, it just gets triggered there, and she comes down, and actually it's the right leg, so not even the left leg that's actually planting as she lands here, and you can see it again as she comes up. Looks like she almost hit it off of the backside of her other leg potentially, and either way it definitely twinged hard enough. She's in a lot of pain.
Hard to tell exactly what happened, but hopefully she's all right, as Memphis is going to get Katie Brignac into the game, and Brignac will now pitch as Novak leaves with a non-contact injury to her right knee, and you hope that she is okay. So Brignac will get some warm-up tosses as she's about to make her 5th appearance of the season, her 3rd in relief. Not bad numbers, but not much of a sample size. Only 9 innings for her. 2.33 the earned run average. 1-1 the record. She's walked 1 and struck out 5. Katie Brignac out of River Ridge, Louisiana.
Given up 10 hits so far, 3 of those being doubles as well. So certainly someone who both can throw a nice little strikeout, 5 strikeouts out of 9 innings, but also giving up a few hard hits as well. 2 wild pitches also registered so far this year.
11 o'clock tomorrow, the finale of this 3-game series. As you can see the numbers for Brignac right there. She is a senior, and she's about to make her 3rd relief appearance of the season. Shockers have really put a dent, Jamie, in the collective ERA of this Memphis pitching staff. It was at 1.33 starting the day. But Wichita State's plated 5 today on 6 hits, and now looking for more is Bailey Nickerson is about to step in. So just to reset everything, the Shockers with 1 out and a runner at first base. That's Mackenzie Wright. Leading 5-1, Nickerson stepping in. Having gotten on base both times, Jamie, she's walked and doubled. Barely got a piece of it, and it bounced it back to the backstop. Of course, that injury to Novak happened in the middle of Nickerson's at bat, so the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes after that foul back to the screen. Count still 1-2. Way outside. Nice job by Hadley to snare that one and keep it from getting away. 2-2.
It's an odd count to come into as a pitcher. You know, when you're ahead like that, you didn't really get to that point, so you didn't get to progress through the at-bat, and then you come in, you throw an off-speed pitch, and then a ball outside. You know, that's where you need to go. But, you know, coming in, you'd expect to want to throw something a little bit more of your caliber, maybe a hard in, a hard out, something like that. She's had to pitch in this 1-2 count.
Bouncer to short, fielded by Trosclair Klatt, and they're going to try for a 6-4-3, but the relay is not in time. So Wright is retired at second base, 6-4. That's the second out of the inning, yes. And Nickerson safe over at first. So 2 outs now here in the inning. And Lori Derrico steps in now. Lori is 1 for 2, first inning strikeout and a single in the 3rd. Pitches in there for a strike to Derrico, yes, nothing in 1. Still a pretty heavy breeze out of the north in from left field. When we started the game, it was around 15 miles an hour. Nothing in 1, the count to Derrico, and here's the pitch. Away for a ball, 1-1. There you see the flags. That's over the third base bleachers, pointing toward the south, as Derrico also hits one toward the south and out of play. 1-2. Brignac ready and delivers. That one bounces in, and the count's now even at 2-2.
Tigers would really like to see Brignac get them out of this inning with the dangerous Derrico up to the plate, get them back into their dugout for a little offensive outing as they are down 4 runs.
Here comes the 2-2, and that one is low. Katie Brignac last appeared last week, a week ago today, in a game against Southeast Missouri that Memphis lost, one of their few losses this season. Gave up a couple of hits, didn't get anybody out. Count is full right here, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Lori Derrico. And Lori sends this one out of play, and the count remains full at 3-2. And another one that got up into the wind and was blown over the bleachers. Paige Llewellyn on deck taking some cuts. She would bat next. Katie Brignac, the 3rd Memphis pitcher that they've used today. Mariah Nichols got the start. Christian Novak came on in relief, and here Brignac has relieved Novak. Full count to Derrico, and the pitch sliced into right field, down the line, slicing and foul. Boy, that one didn't miss by much, Jamie. Lori got a good piece of that one going the other way.
Yeah, so far she's seen a lot of outside pitches from Brignac, and she's been able to foul them off quite well, that being obviously the longest one that she's taken so far in this at-bat. I wouldn't be surprised to see something a little bit further outside the zone, as Derrico has been a little more productive than Llewellyn so far this game, as she is the one that's up next. Both of them being, though, very dangerous hitters for Wichita State.
That's Bailey Wisher warming up in the Memphis bullpen. With the count 3-2 to Derrico here, runner at first, 2 away. And Brignac's delivery lifted, left side. Smith down into the corner, but she'll run out of room. So the count remains 3-2. Last night, the wind was blowing out of the south, out to left field, and Lori got under one a ton, and certainly you'd think the wind helped that one get out of here as it snuck right over the fence and just under the left field scoreboard for her 4th home run of the season. She gets underneath one like that, it's not going to leave the yard today. There's ball 4, and down to first base she goes. So a good at bat that time by Derrico to stay alive, fight off pitches, and Lori's on at first.
Not always a bad thing to put Derrico on at first when she's having a really great season so far, but unfortunately for the Memphis Tigers, you are going to have to face someone in Llewellyn who's done an awesome job offensively as well. Certainly not someone you want to see up there when she is the all-time record holder here at Wichita State in RBIs.
0 for 1 today is Paige as she grounded out to third back in the 3rd inning. And she takes down low for a ball, 1-0. Paige walked and scored back in the 1st inning. Wichita State scored 3 times in the 1st, and they added 2 more in the 3rd. Memphis's lone run came in the top of this, the 4th inning. In there for his strike, and the count's even 1-1. I mentioned earlier in the game that Paige is leading all Shocker regulars in a number of offensive categories. 361, her batting average starting the day, tops on the team. Her 4 home runs this season tied with Lori Derrico for tops on the team as she swings and misses here, 1 and 2. Her 22 runs batted in starting the day, 5 better than Derrico, who's in second with 17. Paige also has a nice hefty .607 slugging percentage and a .409 on base percentage. Bouncer to the left side here. There's going to be no throw, and Paige is on again. Nice play by Claire Klatt going to her right just to stop that one and keep it from getting into the outfield, but she didn't have the throw at third. It's a good jump that time by Nickerson at second, and they are loaded with Shockers here.
This one just deep enough into the 5-6 hole that Claire Klatt really didn't have a chance anywhere. As, of course, with 2 strikes, 2 outs, you did see Nickerson just on the swing taking off for third base. So given a nice little opportunity to Buck here with the bases loaded.
Paige Llewellyn with an infield hit, and now there's a shot out into center field by Riley Buck, and that one's going to roll toward the fence, and it's going to score a couple. Nickerson from third, Derrico from second. It's 7-1 Wichita State on a 2 RBI single for Riley Buck. Runs batted in, 11 and 12 for Buck, as the Shockers now have their first 6-run lead of the afternoon.
Nice little first pitch swing here from Buck. She was ready to go. As soon as she got into the batter's box, she took that straight back up the middle. Couldn't have been placed better for Wichita State than having 2 easy scores coming in on their feet as Nickerson and Derrico. It's an awesome job from Riley Buck to come up big with 2 more runs for the Wichita State Shockers.
Now here's Caitlin Bingham with runners at the corners. In there for a strike, 0-1. Caitlin, a first inning, 2 RBI single that got it started for Wichita State. I beg your pardon, it's Bailey Klitsky that's in there, not Bingham. Bailey asked for time right there, and it wasn't granted. Now there goes the runner down to second base, and that'll be a steal for Buck. Did you see Klitsky right there asking for time with her left hand? It was never granted.
Klitsky, one of those pitchers in the lineup for Wichita State. Not your typical hitter, but certainly been taking some more swings this season, as she is in the lineup as both today and has been frequently so far this season.
Picked up her first career base hit last weekend when the Shockers were playing Iowa and Creighton up in Omaha. And we saw her, Jamie, in the Western Illinois Missouri State doubleheaders a couple of weekends ago. In a close game late, draw a very big walk, so she showed some patience at the plate as well. 2 balls and a strike, the count to her. Outside, ball 3. And if you're Katie Brignac, this is not somebody you want to put on base. Albeit Caitlin, we've been bragging about her getting her first career hit and getting on base a couple weekends ago via the walk. Still, somebody that hits as seldom as she does, you've got to throw strikes to make her beat you. Chopper up the first baseline. And did she run past the tag? She did not. The tag was applied, and Klitsky is retired. But the Shockers do add to their lead as they score a couple more. We go to the 5th, 7-1 Wichita State. The Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes is the perfect place to spend time with family and friends. Open to the public, the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes features 8 bowling lanes, billiard tables, plus great food and beverages and freshly made burgers, sandwiches, salads, cold beer, and more. The Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes, located in the lower level of the Radigan Student Center, is the perfect place for kids' birthday parties, group events, or a night out with friends. Stop by the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes, once again open to the public at the Radigan Student Center. We're ready for inning number 5. Wichita State has outscored Memphis now by 6, and they've hit the Tigers by 7. This is a big outing here for Wichita State's Caitlin Bingham and now Bailey Klitsky, Jamie, because this Memphis team, as we've talked about a number of times, very proficient hitting the softball, a very good pitching team, and today Wichita State has clearly been the better team in both categories, hitting and pitching.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. There's only 2 other programs ranked in the top 10 nationally in batting average, along with Memphis, and that's Georgia and Washington. That's some great company to be keeping. So you're exactly right. This defense, this pitching staff for Wichita State has been able to really keep that offense under control today.
1 ball and no strikes to Aaron Parker. And now the count is 2-0. Parker, the number 9 batter of the Memphis lineup. Then back to the top of the order with Kyler Trosclair-Cladd and Bailey Smith. 9-1-2 for the Tigers, trailing Wichita State 7-1. Parker has not yet had an official at bat. She walked back in the 3rd inning, and she takes a strike here, and the count's 2-1. Bailey Klitsky, terrific in relief last night, came on in a pressure situation in this game in the top of the 4th inning and did the job. Now she starts fresh here in the 5th, and the count is 3 balls and a strike to Aaron Parker. Parker, 284 coming into the game, no homers, 5 runs batted in. There's a strike to run the count full now at 3-2. Parker from Louisville, Kentucky. Just a sophomore. So we'll likely be hearing that name for the next couple of years as she lines one over to second. Nice play by Buck. Down to a knee, scoops it up off the hop, and a toss to first in time for 3. And another one, Jamie, that Riley probably made look a lot easier than it really was.
Yeah, you can see, you know, when you see someone that's like going to be able to watch the ball right off the bat and then kind of slow it down. I almost felt like she slowed it down for us. And, you know, Hecker gets down on her knee, looks over, makes another play, and she's made a number of these today, definitely making it look easy from here, and certainly not an easy play.
Now, they've given her first base. I don't know if they said that Buck pulled her foot off the bag. They've given her first base, and she's on at first. That looked like a very routine 4-3 put out at first. And Parker is on over at first base, so we missed what the call was. Illegal pitch, it looks like, so that was ball 4. Okay. So we're back at the top of the order with Kyler Trosclair-Cladd. An illegal pitch on that play gave Parker first base. And the count at the plate is 1 ball and 1 strike to Kyler Trosclair-Cladd, who lifts one to center field. Nickerson over to her left. She can't get there. They'll try to force play at second, and that throw's not in time. That one hung up there just long enough that Nickerson and Lange, whoever got to it, was going to throw to second, because the runner at first, Parker, had to hold up and make sure it wasn't going to get caught. It didn't, but Parker made her way to second, and it's a single for Kyler Trosclair-Cladd.
Yeah, with the way the wind's blowing today, it's blowing in toward home plate, so that definitely held up a little bit, and that caused a lot of running for both right fielder Lange and center fielder Nickerson coming in. You can see there with the flag bringing it in toward the field. Held it up just a little bit, enough to actually get down on the ground and provide a base hit for Trosclair-Cladd.
So Bailey Smith is in now and takes a strike, 0-1. That base hit just the second hit for Memphis on the afternoon. Shocker pitchers have done a number on Bailey Smith with that .473 average to keep her off the base paths. And now a bunt in front of the plate was called fair and a live ball by the home plate umpire, but then the umpire at first base says foul ball. So we will try it again.
Yeah, from here you could definitely see the ball take off from the bat down onto the ground and then come back up and hit Bailey Smith just before she left, heading off for first base. So a nice little catch there from the umpiring staff.
So no balls and 2 strikes, and this one comes in outside to Smith, and it's 1-2. Well, stand guard if you're Lori Derrico, because Bailey Smith is not only 0 for 2, but both of her outs, ground outs to short. High for a ball, 2-2. Aaron Parker, the runner at second. Kyler Trosclair-Clatt, the runner over at first. Bailey Smith trying to move him around. The count's even here, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hot shot, snared by right. She's going to step on the bag at third. What a play by McKenzie. There is a good look at those reflexes we've talked about with her on a hot shot. Scooped it up, made it look pretty easy, and stepped on the bag.
It's a huge play from the senior third baseman. I've talked about her with just her golden glove over there. Look at that snag. That could have easily gone all the way out into left field. She made it look easy. And with the speed of Smith up to the plate, no chance at that first base double play.
So Addison Maxwell is in now with runners at first and in second again, but this time with 1 away. So a much needed first out for Wichita State and Bailey Klitsky. Now can they get the second right here? There's a strike. Addison Maxwell has the count even at 1-1. Maxwell is 0 for 1. She struck out in the first inning, walked in the fourth. Little flare out towards second. Infield fly rule is called. Batter automatically out. There's 2 away. It's a nice job by Klitsky, Jamie, after it was first and second with nobody out. Now you've got first and second with 2 away. Still no damage done. Bailey came on in a precarious position last night in relief and did a great job. The very first batter she saw, she did give up a sacrifice fly to that scored a run, but no further damage was done against Klitsky, and Bailey really was solid in the final 2 innings she pitched as well. 1 ball and no strikes to Ashley Threat. This one down low. Good job by Perrigan. They're going to try to get the runner at first. That play was close, but Smith diving back in. Wichita State with a 6-run lead, trying to even this 3-game series at 1 game apiece. Here comes the 2-0. Grounder over to first. Buck is there, scoops it up, steps on the bag, and that's that. So Memphis threatens in the 5th, but Bailey Klitsky gets the job done and gets out of the jam. We go to the bottom of inning number 5, 7-1 Wichita State.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Bottom half of inning number 5 from the Wilk. Wichita State with a 6-run lead, 7-1 over Memphis. Shockers, if they get the win today, make a little bit of history, looking for their first ever win in American Athletic Conference play. And it'll be Asia Weber that'll get the bottom of the 5th starting for Wichita State. Weber, Madison, Paragon, and Bailey Lange. 7, 8, and 9 for the Shockers here in the 5th. The first pitch is in for a strike. 0-1. There you see the numbers for Asia, including her 1-for-2 day today. Katie Brignac is back out there on the circle for Memphis. And here comes the pitch. Hot shot just outside the bag at third. So Weber trying to go the other way, just missed doing that, and the count's now 0-2.
Asia Weber's a junior, but only her second year at Wichita State, transferred in from Oklahoma State her sophomore year.
is down and away, 1-2. Batting average for Asia starting the day just .214, but she did have a 3rd inning double. So let's see if that starts to turn the tide for her offensively. Weber, just her 4th double of the season when she did that in the 3rd inning. Fouled back and out of play, 1-2.
There's 2 Webers in this lineup, Steve. Talking about the Smiths over on Memphis's team. You got 2 Webers, although they are spelled differently. Mackenzie Weber and Asia Weber, both on this lineup for WSU. Little commonalities happening.
Yeah. Up high for a ball, 2-2. Memphis not only has 3 Smiths, but they've got a couple of Lees on their team as well. Things can get a little confusing. They've got Brooke Lee and Kendall Lee as well. There's a swing and a miss. Down goes Asia Weber. 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning from Addison Paragon. Now, I asked you a couple of weeks ago when you did some extensive research talking about names. But Madison Paragon goes by the name of Butters, and you looked into the origin of this nickname.
I did. Apparently that's a South Park reference. So her father, Tony Paragon, reached out to me after hearing our broadcast, wanted to make sure that we knew kind of the origin of where that came from. So it was in fact from South Park. As she was growing up, she resembled the character of Butters, who was a little flimsy and ditzy at the time, and kind of, so that's something that just stuck. But her athleticism certainly has beaten that nickname out as she has grown into her position here.
Flimsy and what?
Ditzy.
Ditzy, okay. 1-1 the count to Butters. Shockers don't have a flimsy lead here. They're up 6, 7-1. Bottom of the 5th inning. In tight for a ball, 2-1.
Says that the Butters character was very nervous a lot of times. So Butters got that nickname after being a little nervous at batting practice when she was a kid at 10 years of age.
Well, she seems to have handled it well to this point. This one lifted right side. That one's going to get out of play. Here she is playing Division I softball, so she's handled the nerves well.
Yes, she has. As only a sophomore, she's certainly settled in here at Wichita State, doing a great job so far.
Well, and you know, talking about handling nerves, how about the 2 home runs she had a couple of weeks ago? One of them against Arkansas in what I believe was a 1-0 victory, and she had the home run. And then she turned around a few days later here at Wilkins Stadium and had an opposite field home run as the Shockers were playing those doubleheaders with Western Illinois and Missouri State that all ended up being very close games. High and tight for a ball. The count's full at 3-2. Bailey Lange waits on deck. Did you have a nickname, Jamie?
I didn't.
Oh.
No. I think my last name kind of resembles the Hulk, so I got the Hole a lot when I was up to the plate.
Did they call you the Incredible Hole?
I got It's the Hole when I was walking up to the plate. Now, I hope I didn't necessarily resemble physically what the Hulk looks like. Maybe they were talking about my power at the plate. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm going to tell myself.
Walk issued to Madison Perrigan, and Christy Bredbender might be getting a courtesy runner in for her. Well, we already know this. You are the only player in Wichita State history to be the winning pitcher against Memphis. This is the third meeting between these two teams. Of course, the Shockers lost last night, but all the way back, as we discovered last night in 2010, the Shockers won the second game of a doubleheader, and the winning pitcher in that game was none other than Jamie Hull, something we found out yesterday. So there you go.
Yep, I was thinking back to that actually. Back in February of 2010, we were celebrating. It was Mardi Gras. Fat Tuesday was going on in Memphis at the time. So one of our assistant coaches grew up in the area and hosted us for dinner over there at her family's house. It was really fun. Definitely a memory, and something at the time. Had no idea that eventually Memphis would be in the same conference as the Shockers. So kind of a cool full circle type story.
Morgan Palmer is the courtesy runner for Wichita State over at first. She's in running for Perrigan. Bailey Lange, the batter, has a no ball, 1 strike count. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Bailey is 1 for 2. She is bounced out to the pitcher and singled in the 4th inning. Mackenzie Wright swinging the bat on deck. She'll bat next. And the pitch is away, and the count's 1-2.
Lange's gone back up the middle both times in her at-bats. Ground balls to the pitcher and to center field. Seeking to do a little bit of that, get herself on base so she can continue this lead for Wichita State.
Brignac ready and delivers to Lange. Bounced foul over toward Mackenzie Wright in the first base on deck circle. 1-2 still. Bailey helped the Shockers waste an opportunity when she singled in the 4th, because she ended up trying to steal second base on what looked like maybe a hit and run, and she was tagged out because the Shockers started to knock the ball around a little bit after that, and a couple runs scored. But Bailey was caught stealing prior to that, and that was the first out of the inning. She chops this one foul, still 1-2. And that was the first time all season Lange had been caught stealing. She was 7 for 7 prior to that. One ball and 2 strikes. Runner at first, 1 away. Hot shot back up the middle. Nice play by the shortstop, Claire Klatt, as she will tag the bag, diving to the dirt. What a nice play. And an alert play as well. Rather than try to get up and toss to your teammate or step on it, just slap it with the glove. Good alertness by Claire Klatt. Here it is again, going down to the dirt and making a play, 6 unassisted at second base.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Claire Klatt knew exactly what she was dealing with in Lange, going up the middle a few times. She knew the ball was coming her way, and she also knew Morgan Palmer, who has some speed for Wichita State, was coming on along, and she wasn't going to have time to stand up and actually tag the base with her foot. So nice heads-up play from the senior.
So back to the top of the order now as Mackenzie Wright will step in. Mackenzie 0 for 2. She has struck out and flied out. She did walk back in the 4th inning. muscle down the line. That's going to be a fair ball. It'll be a base hit. Mackenzie Wright with a single. A huge turn at first. But staying at second base was Bailey Lange. So Mackenzie gets her first base hit of the day. And for the Shockers, that's their 9th hit of the afternoon. And now here comes Bailey Nickerson. Good job this time, Jamie, of Wright really turning the hips on a pitch that came inside.
Yeah, I think Wright's seen a number of inside pitches so far today, and that one she did exactly what you should do. Turned on the ball, got it right out there in front of left fielder Smith. Made a nice little turn. I think she was hoping that with that bobble out there, she was going to make it to second base, but it looked like Lange just wasn't going to have a chance to get to third safely, so they retreated back.
So Bailey Nickerson steps in now. Takes a strike, 0-1. Bailey has scored 3 of Wichita State's 7 runs. She's gotten on base all 3 times and come around to score in each trip to the bases as well. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Nickerson. Pitches a ball. Bluffing a throw to second was Hadley, the catcher. So good production for Nickerson, Jamie, out of the 2-hole. She is 1 for 2. The first inning walk, a 3rd inning double, and then reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. Barely got a piece of it, fouled it back. 1-2.
Not every day that you get to cross home plate 3 different times to score for your team, but Bailey Nickerson has done just that. Each of her opportunities being on base has come all the way around. Definitely shows that Wichita State is produced in times when they certainly needed to, when they had runners on base and in scoring position coming around to strike, and that's why we see that 7-1 lead.
Of course, she is just a freshman on this Shocker squad. Here comes the 1-2. Bounced foul over toward Christy Bredbender. Oh, coach played the carom perfectly, just like a left fielder down in the corner.
Like to get involved a little bit too.
Yeah, she squared up perfectly, knew which angle the ball was going to come off the wall, and scooped it up. Kind of like Alex Gordon down there.
Guess in 7 years, you know how the fences are going to play.
That's true.
Like hang out over there on third base.
She is a veteran over there at that position. 1-2. Swung on, driven, center field. That's down. That'll be a base hit. They're going to send Lange around, and the throw is well late. An RBI single for Nickerson, who's now gotten on base all 4 times today. This time with an RBI, her first of the day. And the Shocker lead is 8-1. Didn't get a real good piece of it, Jamie. It was not a hard line drive, more of a soft liner, but hey, it'll work.
Absolutely, especially when you're producing. I mean, that's your opportunity right there with Lange, with the speed on the bases, coming around easy. Nickerson picking up her 12th RBI on the season, and at the right time, bringing up Derrico with 2 outs. Shockers are in some dangerous territory right here with the opportunity to put this game away with 1 swing of the bat from Derrico.
And again, these bats at the top of the order are all starting to come around at just the right time. Wright and Derrico's bats have only really heated up here in the last few weeks. And now Nickerson following suit out of the 2-hole. Paige Llewellyn, she did miss 9 games with an injury, but she's been pretty solid all season long. There's a drive to right. This one is back. This one is deep. This one is gone. Game, set, match. Run rule, Wichita State. Number 5 of the season for Derrico. Runs batted in 18, 19, and 20 as the Shockers win via the run rule 11-1. As Wichita State, not only good in the offense, but very solid pitching and defense-wise as well. Shockers get the win, their first ever as members of the American Athletic Conference in league play. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Shockers get their first ever conference win. Walk-off style, 11-1. They do it via the Mercy Rule. Hey, Shocker fans, if you want to shop the largest selection of Shocker merchandise at the official store of Wichita State University, the University Bookstore is located on the first floor of the Radigan Student Center on campus. You can also shop online 24/7 at WSUBooks.com. Find everything you need for every generation of Shocker Nation. Join our Shocker Awards program for cash back on future purchases. The University Bookstore, the place to shop. Well, it's an 11-1 victory for Wichita State. Steve Strain and Jamie Hill back to wrap things up here. 11 runs, 11 hits for the Shockers. 1 run, just 2 hits for Memphis. So, Jamie, let's first of all start with the pitching because the offense obviously always stands out. We want to talk about the big bats, and we will momentarily, but let's start with the pitchers for Wichita State that kind of set the table here. Caitlin Bingham followed by Bailey Klitsky, allowing through the 5 innings just 2 hits and 1 run on the day.
Yeah, both pitchers staying under control, doing the little things right. You know, we talk about that all the time, just making sure you're hitting your spots and allowing your defense to work. And we saw a number of ground balls, a number of opportunities for nice big strikeouts at the right time. Staying in control and doing an awesome job as a duo pair today was Bingham and Klitsky.
Now to the offense. Lori Derrico comes through with another home run, talking about her production as of late really picked up. Mackenzie Wright got on base there in the 5th inning. Her average is starting to move closer and closer to 300. Let's talk about Bailey Nickerson, though, out of the 2-hole, and the job she did today, getting on base, all 4 plate appearances. She scored 4 runs as well. It just seems like that top half of the Shocker lineup that had been struggling through non-conference is starting to come together just at the right time.
That's exactly right. And you know, your lineup ends up being a puzzle that you've got to figure out where the pieces fit the best through the beginning part of your season. And when you hit conference play, you want to have the best puzzle possible. And Wichita State looks to have all the pieces right, as you saw Derrico really finish it off here for this game today and sending that one over the fence. And Nickerson just fitting right in there with Wright and Derrico at the beginning part of the lineup. Both
teams 1-1 in conference play now. Memphis is now 22-8 overall on the season. Wichita State improves to 17-11. But the Shockers get it done thanks to some early pitching and solid hitting all the way through. And Wichita State in the record books, their first ever win in conference play again as members of the American Athletic Conference. We will talk to you again at 11 o'clock Central Time on Sunday morning for the finale of this 3-game series as the Shockers look to make it 2 out of 3. For Jamie, I'm Steve. We'll talk to you again tomorrow morning.